Hello, Aries, to the month of April. It's now the Aries season. Welcome to Soulfire Tarot. My name is Steven, and let's get on with the reading. Alrighty, I'll be drawing from several different tarot decks. I also have Teal Swan's blind spot cards. These help illuminate things in our blind spots. I also have a obsidian orb, which can be quite useful to glean further insights in the reading. And so with that, I'll draw a general spread. First, we have the Ace of Pentacles, Aries. This is communicating something about new opportunities, some kind of new, perhaps bounty, opportunity of abundance. Perhaps some of you are on the cusp of finding something that could provide new means of income, or something that supplements more abundance in your life in the material realm here. So let's continue off that. I'm going to draw a couple themes here with the Psychic Tarot cards for Aries. Partnerships and alliances, yeah. So for this month, it might be a theme to keep in mind. Maybe wise to be aware of the opportunities or the partnerships and alliances that you have with this new opportunity. There's the Ten of Swords, one of a kind of reckoning, a breaking down from decisions in the past. We had this in the reversed, so I feel like some of you might be coming through a period where there has been some kind of dissolution, some kind of obstruction, perhaps some kind of destruction, not necessarily literal. Perhaps for some of you, literally, perhaps there's been some kind of misfortune that has influenced where things are coming from in this time. We also have the moon reversed. Perhaps this was something that was unexpected. Perhaps there is something, there may be something unexpected in this month, something that would be good to kind of turn to and move forward and follow your inner guidance on. For some of you, perhaps you may have been feeling a little out of touch and confused, with the dissolution, whatever this Ten of Swords reversed may be. Perhaps it's saying that it might be some of the energies it might be a time for restructuring, for kind of like breaking something down and rebuilding, and there could be confusion in that. But you have the partnership and the Ace of Pentacles, which is signaling kind of a key opportunity here. We also have, yes, the Wheel of Fortune, so that wheel of karma, the Wheel of Fortune that is spinning in life, the on and off of how things are moving together in the greater wheel of the cosmos. This is really positive with the Ace of Pentacles. This is signaling something to do with, new opportunities coming around, fortune coming your way. Oops, interesting. There are two that got cut up there, so I'll call them both. We have underneath the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Princess of Pentacles. So this is saying to be confident. Perhaps this will be a time for you to kind of step in your grounded confidence around whatever it might be, perhaps related to work, perhaps related to this new opportunity, this new idea, this new opportunity in the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Princess of Pentacles here, who is looking quite confident, overlooking her domain, her space in this fertile land. She has a vision too. She knows where she's going, and she's kind of involved in what is coming and going and kind of ruling over that. She plays an important role in the success and the fruition of this fertile valley with the fruits. So that was pulled underneath the Ace of Pentacles. And then underneath the Partnership and Alliance card, I have the Nine of Cups. Although it was drawn in the reverse position. So I feel like what this is suggesting is that, don't discount partnerships and alliances. I feel like this is just kind of reminding that sometimes it's easy to feel like we are alone and that we don't have the support, we don't have enough of what we need. But sometimes in reaching out, and creating new opportunities, new partnerships, new alliances, all of a sudden, we see these mini cups, in this great lake, where all this water, this resources, the people who put their heart and care towards maintaining and producing things can come together in a very beautiful way. I feel like this card is also kind of resonating with the principle of gratitude, being grateful for what we have and grateful for the opportunities, grateful for certain partnerships. I think that would be wise for you to perhaps meditate on or practice conscientiously. So now beneath the Ten of Swords, what do we have here? Yep. Yeah, we have the Prince of Cups in reverse. So in the upright position, this is a quite kind of dreamy looking older man who is on this chariot getting pulled by a hawk over the waters, in the coming dawn or perhaps dusk, the stars in the background. Seeing this in reverse, I feel like, yeah, this is connecting also with the moon and understanding that whatever was not working in the breakdown of this structure with the Nine of Swords reversed here, and the confusion and perhaps the unacceptance of it, being kind of like, oh, woe is me for this happened, being in a victim mindset. I feel like this card is suggesting in the reverse position to kind of take the higher perspective on this, of how this perhaps could be an opportunity to reconnect with our dreams. Perhaps it is also something signifying for some of us that we're kind of off the mark, perhaps, of following our dreams and following that higher guidance of our intuition, following the ontological synchronicity of the natural intelligence in life, and how that may present to ourselves through our senses, through our inner knowing, and through signs in the external world, through synchronicity, meeting the right people in the right time, which kind of connects with the Wheel of Fortune. So so underneath the moon card reversed here, where there's confusion about direction of what's kind of calling towards, what are you reflecting on, we also have the Eight of Cups in reverse. So in the upright, this is a card of kind of like moving on. We see this elderly gentleman that is moving on from this very kind of luxurious fountain with many cups. And he's kind of looking back. He spent his time there. Seeing that in reverse, I feel like what this is for some of you who might be on the cusp of confused about what to do and how to move on, I feel like, or what to do in general, I feel like this is suggesting that some of you might be stuck in confusion. But some of you, it's probably talking to some of you that there is an opportunity and there are new partnerships, perhaps some things. So you have some cards on the table, so to speak. And I feel like this is kind of telling you to move on, to move on and to trust these new opportunities. It might bring you closer to what you truly desire and how you can really bring out true gifts, more so than you've believe or thought is possible. For some of you, it might be something that you do know is possible, but there might be a kind of tremendous like, oh, like, because it's the fear of the unknown, right? But underneath the Wheel of Fortune here, we have this one, which is the Hierophant. We're always learning, and we can continually learn. There's lineage after lineage of different traditions, different studies, different disciplines, practices, of skills and various arts, trades, and knowledge that we can learn. We can learn from other people. We can also teach and learn with others. There are traditions. So I'm seeing this underneath the Wheel of Fortune, perhaps for some of you. Some of you might have been thinking about going to school. Perhaps that's what this reading and the theme for the month of April is kind of speaking towards here, which is perfect timing because we're at the zodiac, the celestial new year with the spring. So I'm going to draw another psychic tarot card here. Yeah, we have the throat chakra card. So relating to communication, expression, connection, how do we connect and put our will into the word of the world? So I'm seeing this kind of, connecting with the partnership, the new opportunity of the Ace of Pentacles, whatever this may be. Yeah, and this is something that could connect with your passion. This is a fiery idea in the elemental sense, something that perhaps there's a brightness, there's kind of a warmth, there's this creative power, that fiery element. Perhaps there's currents of that in your life, that this opportunity, this circumstance that's coming through the cards might resonate with something that also touches on something that can connect with this kind of brilliance, with this kind of fire. We see the sun here, the benevolent force, the basically prosperity and providence, rising above the dark clouds with these pieces of wood on fire, the hand of divinity. So, yeah, I feel like some of you, there's probably something that you've been. I feel like for some of you, this is really just going to be kind of like a confirmation and like go for it kind of reading. So, yeah, and we have temperance here, understanding that there's a balance in play and things might be out of balance in some respect here, perhaps to more material things. But I feel like whatever these opportunities and these new potential partnerships, alliances, or things that you do have, rather, I'm looking more towards the future as if it could be. But I'm sure for some of you, it is something that already is, right? And it's highlighting what's already here for you. But with the temperance card, I see this as, transmutation of elements, understanding that, in order to create something new, there has to be kind of a combination of different things that go into creating something new. Sometimes one thing has to be transformed into another in order to get the results we want. I was seeing this in the reverse position, so I think that might be communicating that there may have been or could be some questions around challenges of not getting results. But I'm also putting this more so in kind of the past position here. So I feel like that might be influencing kind of what's coming up for this spreads thus far. Let's tune into the animal kingdom here, and I will draw from one of these wild spirit tarot cards. Not tarot cards, but oracle cards. Yeah, perfect. Right after temperance reversed, we have transformation, the butterfly, the moth. We see the butterfly, the bottom here. There's the pupa, the metamorphic dreaming stage, and then the flower, the blossoming, the opening to life, the opening to the sun. The underlying conditions for that blossoming have become set, and now is the time to unfold into this new expression of life through this metamorphosis, the recreation of life into something perhaps more beautiful, agile, free, and to follow the wind, to follow and to seek the sweet nectar of life from the flowers of life. So, yeah, wow, that's quite beautiful. Quite beautiful. I'm going to draw a few more cards here. I have so many upside down ones. Yeah, so underneath the Wheel of Fortune, yeah, this is kind of, I'm seeing this card. This is the Two of Swords in reverse, which has to do with like making a decision around something, but it's in reverse. And so that's right next to the moon. Yeah, and I feel like there is, perhaps for some of you, you know, I feel like what this is saying is be careful, you know, perhaps contemplate and reflect on these decisions. If there's an assortment of things, you know, perhaps one part of you might think one opportunity or decision is the right idea in terms of what we're expected and think we should do, but perhaps there is something that is more truly calling to us that connects with our higher self, you know, the intuitive inner knowing part of ourselves, that connects with our innocence, you know, with our brilliance, with our gifts, you know, kind of as a soul. I feel like that's what that is kind of reflecting for you. Ah, yep. Yeah, exactly. And that's a confirmation. We have the Knight of Chalices taking action towards your dreams. You know, what fills your cup and how you can share that cup nobly. So, yeah. Next, I'll use this obsidian sphere to try to glean more insights and kind of a gestalt sense, and then we'll see what goes from there. Yeah. So the energy coming through in the month of with these cards, it has to do with transmission and activation. Sometimes the troubles that appear in our life are exactly what we need to fully activate the inner resources and the capabilities that we need to actually more fully realize what it is that we are being called to do and that which we connect to with our inner gifts in terms of like what we're good at, our talents, our skills, connecting to purpose, mission, and meaning. The word onslaught is coming to mind. And I'm seeing kind of this metaphorical sense of like things might be messy. It's funny because it's like lined up and reflecting with the Ten of Swords reversed here. Um, yeah, but I'm seeing that like if some of you have been let go of from your work, it's actually it's a really vibrant opportunity, and it's something where you can leveraging courage with your confidence. It's like a clean break. Yeah, and that like the universe is it will support you um, if you move on that with confidence and courage. Seeing the Wheel of Fortune and then also the Princess of Pentacles is kind of resonating with that thought, and also the partnerships and alliances, forging new alliances and kind of a reformation of strength of agreements. Yeah, and there's something about like trusting truth. Perhaps for some of you, what's led to the circumstance is kind of like a disintegration of integrity of perhaps some institutions or prior partnerships, perhaps around business or something to do about your liveliness, perhaps. Yeah, I'm just keep on seeing like trust is key. Trust is key in forming sound relationships, but ultimately trusting in yourself. And for some of you that have hesitations about like not trusting yourself, that's where also like certain partnerships and alliances, people can help raise that within you and remind you to help you see that for yourself, to kind of reaffirm it. I'm seeing something about triangulation. like a pyramid or a structure of how things are built up to create growth, upward growth. As it takes a solid foundation, and there's a lot of collaborative work that goes into building such a structure that can reach such heights and provide very majestic functions. Yeah, resolution. Resolution is important as well. Having the resolution and the clarity of knowing why you're doing what you're doing and where you're going. Taking time to reflect. Perhaps for some of you that could be look like taking some time, a day, maybe a few days, a weekend, just doing something where you can reflect and get more clear and focus your thoughts to help embolden the courage, confidence, and clarity you may need to move forward and to get clarity through what confusion there might be in the midst of things that may have been breaking down, coming to a decision that impacts fortune. Yeah. And with the Hierophant card, higher learning, tradition, doctrine, education, knowledge, wisdom, there's people out there who are seeking you. For those of you who might be seeking or needing more knowledge, perspective and growth, and perhaps mentorship, they're seeking you. That's what they're there for. So if you have that intention, it's gonna manifest and synchronize. So excellent. And now let's take a look on the dark side here. The dark side. No, it's not that bad all the time, but let's see. So blind spot cards for Aries in this month of April. Yeah, the sneaky one here. Beautiful. We have the 5. I've never seen this one yet. Some of my favorite art. So here's the sigil. Yeah. I feel like this has to do with ascension and rising up and transformation, as the transformational butterfly card was signifying. So I'll take a read in the book here. Wow, it's pretty on point. So the 5 card is bulldozing. It says, if we have drawn this sigil, perhaps you are bulldozing a part of yourself in this situation. Consciousness itself functions like water. If you're looking at a river from above, you can see that a large river often branches off into smaller rivers, and each time this happens, there's less water available to the main river. Due to trauma, which occurs in all people's lives with no exception, the question is simply to what degree. Our consciousness splits just like the river does. It splits so that instead of being whole, we are fragmented. It is easier to comprehend this process of splitting, that is fragmentation, in terms of how it affects our being, by imagining that when our consciousness splits as the result of trauma, our ego splits in two. And it can do this over and over again. This means even though we have one body, within that body, we end up with multiple selves. The best way to picture this is to imagine that instead of your body, you have a collection of Siamese twins. They are technically all conjoined because they all share one body, but each time one has its own identity, its own desires, needs, perspectives, strengths, weaknesses, and appearances. Some of these internal Siamese twins we like and identify with. Others we disidentify with and suppress, deny, and disown. We have good reasons for approving of parts of ourselves and rejecting others, but no matter how we spin it, it means that we are polarized. You have experienced this polarization any time that you come to a place where you have to make a decision and part of you says yes while another part of you says no. And that's kind of resonating with the moon, the confusion and the dissolution, and just kind of like, oh, what do I do with this? Don't know where to go. Who am I? What am I doing? Um, let's see. You have experienced this polarization anytime that you come to a place where you have to make a decision and part of you says yes while another part of you says no. When we are faced with the situation, we usually begin to play a zero-sum game internally. We make a decision, so the part of us that says yes has won, and the part of us that says no loses. It is as if part of us is saying no to something, is standing in front of a bulldozer being driven by our other part, and instead of creating resolution so that both parts feel in alignment with the choice being made, the one driving the bulldozer simply runs right over the one protesting. So I can kind of make this more relatable by my own personal experience. Um, let's say with my partner, there's been a time where she likes to go out to events, music events, and I enjoy doing that from time to time too. She has a community group of friends that she's a part of that attends these music dance events, and there's been times where it's like something's telling me like no, like I feel like for me it's not what I need, it's not exactly what I want, and like, do I make a compromise? Do I do it to make her happy because she wants me to be there, or do I say no and stay in integrity to that part that is saying no? And is that no bigger than the yes and the potential? So that's something I've struggled with at times, is honoring and bringing to voice and speak of the part of me that is saying no around something, because I don't want to go against the social expectation. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to disappoint people. I want to, make people happy, essentially. But if it is sacrificing in our exchange for what is going to make me happy, connecting to my needs, my purpose, all of that, it's important to address those things. And sometimes in more simple situation, let's say like we're looking at buying a house or something like that, there might be something where like a lot of you is saying yes, but there's something about something that's saying something else. It's important to address that and bring that up, right? Because what this, I think, can create is like suppression dynamics where we're not being fully honest. We're not allowing these inner parts of ourselves that may be a little dissociative, that got suppressed for whatever reason, trauma, perhaps in childhood or life experience. It's important, I think, towards this idea of wholeness and integration to be able to give voice to multiple parts of ourselves. And in my experience, and I know other people's experience sometimes, just simply having a space to address these things, to whom and what it may be pertinent to these multiple selves, parts of ourselves, there can kind of be a resolution. Because sometimes maybe the part that's like, oh, no, or hey, what about this, right? That is coming from a part of ourselves that may just need a little more assurance. Maybe it's coming from a part of ourselves that was wounded, and it needs a little more, a little more care, essentially. And then that might be able, let's say it's the inner child, might be able to, get supported. And then we can kind of like, okay, that part of me is secure now. I can move forward more clearly because I've addressed that. That's taken care of. And yeah, so I think you get the gist of that. In this situation, you must consider that the part of you that is being bulldozed exists and is currently holding a very important personal truth that you need to look at instead of ignoring or minimizing. You have important feelings that need to be felt, that need to be met. But you are simply bulldozing forward with the idea that you shouldn't feel those things. Excuse me, burps. And shouldn't need those things. If you have drawn the sigil, you are bulldozing a part of yourself in the situation. And that's why you feel like you are moving forward and doing things in spite of yourself. You would be wise to understand that you cannot do this and feel good or manifest anything good at the same time. In this situation, you need to make sure that you move forward on decisions only after you have achieved a state of alignment between your internal Siamese twins or multiple selves, so to speak. It's not saying that you have multiple personalities. It's saying that there's like kind of like a tree, these different rings, of ourselves, for the person we've been in life, in our past, that are influencing. And, think of it like a table. Is everybody on that table able to kind of speak their piece? So, yeah, I feel like that really connects with especially what was coming through with the obsidian gazing there. I felt like that was pretty clear, connecting to the confusion, making decisions, how it relates to fortune and the kind of the moving wheels of life, but also partnerships and connecting and taking the time to reflect and kind of find that inner alignment. So hope that was fairly clear for you, Aries. So once again, this is Soul Fire Tarot, SOL, Soul, the sun. I have here a beautiful candle, which is reflecting the light. So be well. Leave a comment if this resonated for you. If you have any thoughts, I'd appreciate the feedback, any kind of feedback. And yeah, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. That's how life works. And subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Peace.